Thank you all for joining yet another video. Dr. RS and you, Science of Cosmetics and Personal Care Products. Today we are going to part 16. We are going to discuss the next building blocks, emollients and humectants. We will be discussing emollients and humectants. Right? Emollients and humectants, part 16. Again, I am going back to the old picture. This is skin, right? And all the emolliency and humectancy in the skin is required for the outermost layer of the skin called the horny layer or the stratum corneum. Called the horny layer or the stratum corneum. So here all the emollients and humectants act. The aim of emollients and humectants, we will what is their functions we will come, but to recollect and tell you, the emollients and humectants are basically for stratum corneum or the horny layer. That I want to this is a picture of hair. The outermost layer of the hair, the cuticle, right? Cuticle. Emollients, especially silicones from conditioners and shampoos, are used as an emollient in the hair care to smoothen the cuticle and to give the smooth feel to the hair. And in the same way, coconut oil is used after bath to smoothen the cuticle and to give the hair a smooth feel. It's basically skin and hair. The application of emollients and humectants is for the outermost surface, namely the cuticle and the horny layer or stratum corneum. Cuticle for hair, horny layer or stratum corneum for the skin. Right? When you see skin moisture, again we discussed in moisturization. I am revising again. We discussed, I am revising again. Ways to moisturize the skin: seal moisture, supply moisture, inherent nature of the skin to hold moisture. Right? Seal moisture onto the skin, supply moisture to the skin and improve the inherent nature of this to hold moisture. You have to remember this. Remember this. In the discussions, we will be discussing on these aspects. Okay. In further discussions, we will be discussing on these aspects. Right. So, emollients. What are emollients? Emollients contribute to the moisturizing, lubricating, protecting, conditioning and softening performance of a cosmetic formulation. Though the chemical structure of emollients are well defined, the relationship between these structures and such performance features can be strengthened through quantifying fundamental properties. See, fundamental properties of those emollients, whether they are polar, whether they are non-polar, based on their viscosity, all these things, through that we can select the emollients for a particular function. Now, what are most of the emollients are water insoluble. They form occlusive layer on the skin. That is how skin moisturization. They seal moisture. They form a continuous oily film that is hydrophobic and that's how they moisturize the skin and they seal moisture. This is emollients. Skin sensory. If you formulate a cream or a lotion, you need a silky feel, a smooth feel, easy spreadability, non-greasy. So, by combination of suitable emollients, you can alter the sensory of creams and lotions, right? In hair, it's used for hair conditioning, especially silicones. Silicones and silicone polymers are used widely in hair care for hair conditioning. And vegetable oils, right? Vegetable oils are used on hair for hair conditioning, to smoothen the hair and for hair conditioning, right? In South, they have the habit of using vegetable oils, especially coconut oil. After washing the hair with shampoo, they apply coconut oil. So, coconut oil have the property of hair conditioning also. This is apart from all the things. Some of the emollients act as secondary emulsifiers in the formulation of emulsions. The formulation of emulsions, and they also act as structuring agents, to give structure to the product. This is a different, apart from their primary benefit, this is the secondary benefit of some of the emollients, right? So this is a very, very important slide which you have to remember. Emollients is for moisturizing, lubricating, protecting, conditioning and softening performance of a cosmetic product. Softening performance on primarily skin and to the hair. Through the chemical structure, so by various parameters of the emollients, basically the polarity, viscosity and its structure, you can select the emollients, combine the emollients for these benefits, for the product to deliver these benefits. So I think now you are very clear what are emollients, right? Now, on the contrary, what are humectants? Humectants are range of ingredients that provide hydration effects as a result of their hygroscopicity. So humectants are water soluble, right? They are water soluble, but they have the property of hygroscopicity. Hygroscopicity, they can absorb moisture from the environment or from the inner layers of the cell to keep the skin moisturized. That is very, very important. So, skin moisturizer. Here, while the emollients seal moisture, humectants supply moisture by its hygroscopicity. Protect cosmetic products from drying. This is another property where, because of its water absorbing capacity, right, it doesn't allow the product to dry fast, especially in creams where especially vanishing creams where high level of stearic acid is used. We will see what is vanishing cream. It tends to dry out very fast when you open and keep it out. But in the presence of humectants, the cosmetic products, so humectants, this is propylene glycol is also called as a penetration enhancer because it alters the stratum corneum and allows the actives to penetrate inside the skin. So apart from the humectant activity, propylene glycol also act as a penetration enhancer, and some of the preservatives. See, the water activity is very important for microbial contamination in a product. So, for preservative efficacy of some preservatives, the preservative should be in the water phase. But most of the preservatives tend to move towards the oil phase. Propylene glycol restricts this partition coefficient of the preservatives from water to oil and maintain the preservatives in the water phase so that the microbial efficacy of the preservative increases. So that is how propylene glycol potentiate the activity of some preservatives. So what we are telling is humectants' primary function is to supply moisture. In that way, skin moisturizer and also in the formulation protect the product from drying. So these are the main functions of humectants. But it has some of the humectants have this function also, just to mention, right? So now we have seen the definition of emollients and humectants. Now we will go back to emollients. Okay, we will go back to emollients, right? I am combining these emollients and humectants together because they are very important for skin moisturization, skin moisturization basically, and they perform a different function which we discussed. So that is why I am taking both together. So emollient classification, right? Natural oils, what is it? Coconut oil, no, sunflower oil, olive oil. So that's fatty acids, stearic acid, palmitic acid. Okay, we'll see natural butters, cocoa butter, shea butter, jojoba butter. These are all these are all vegetable based, right? Natural butters. Fatty alcohol, cetyl alcohol, stearyl alcohol. Again, fatty alcohols like that. Emollient fatty alcohol, apart from its emollient effect, fatty alcohol is also play a very important role in emulsification process. Fatty alcohols, they are very potent secondary emulsifiers, right? We discussed before on this. Fatty alcohols and the surfactants, emulsifiers used, primary emulsifier used, form bilayers, right? It's a micelle. In that bilayer, lot of water can be imbibed. That's how it protects it protects emulsion from separating. It improves the emulsion stability. So fatty alcohol responsible for gel phase and gel systems in a oil in water type of emulsion. So apart from the emollient effect, fatty alcohols also have emulsion stabilizing effect. Fatty alcohols, emulsion stabilizing effect. Okay. So synthetic esters, isopropyl myristate, isopropyl palmitate, cetyl esters. So it goes on. We will see the thing. Petroleum oils and waxes. Right? What? Petroleum oils, liquid paraffin. Right? Paraffin wax, microcrystalline wax, petroleum jelly. These are all petroleum oils and wax. Liquid paraffin itself, various viscosities. Right? Natural waxes. What are the natural waxes? Carnauba wax, Candela wax. Both are vegetable origin. Then beeswax, okay, animal origin. And again, paraffin wax, microcrystalline wax, petroleum origin. Hydrogenated vegetable oil, the mostly used hydrogenated vegetable oil is hydrogenated castor oil, is highly used. Animal source, lanolin and its derivative. Lanolin obtained from sheep while processing wool, while processing wool, it's sheep is not killed, but it's while they take out the wool, the lanolin is the natural fat secreted on the sheep skin for protection, right? This sheep with wool, this sheep, it's in very, very cold weather in Europe and all these countries. So lanolin is a very good emollient, very good moisturizer. Silicones and silicone polymers, okay? For skin and widely used in hair care, no? So silicones widely used in shampoos for conditioning, right? Widely used in. We have discussed fully here. So we will revise the aspects on emollients. Okay, we are revising the aspects on emollients, right? So emollients are cosmetic ingredients which help to maintain the softness, smoothness, and pliability of the skin and hair. I can say emollient function by their ability to remain on the skin surface or stratum corneum, that's the skin surface, to act as a lubricant, to reduce flaking and to improve the appearance of the skin. On the hair, it flattens the cuticle layer. On the hair, it flattens the cuticle layer and gives smoothness to the hair. Coconut oil and silicones. Coconut oil is used after washing the hair. Silicones are used while shampooing. In the shampoo and conditioners, silicones are there which act as an emollient for the hair. Silicones are used for skin care also in very huge quantities. So emollients are also described as fattening additives or refatteners. This fat and the cholesterol fat is different. This fat is oily, smooth feel. Refatteners prevent defatting and drying out of the skin. How drying out of the skin? Because it reduces the transepidermal water loss. It seals the water onto the skin, right? Because it is a hydrophobic layer, it seals the water on the skin and it doesn't allow the water to evaporate. This typical skin losing water is called transepidermal water loss. So emollients especially non-polar emollients. Non-polar emollients forms a very strong occlusive layer on the skin and seals the moisture onto the skin and prevents transepidermal water loss. Thus, increase the water content of the skin, moisture content of the skin. That's how they impart moisturization to the skin. We said that they can be non-polar or polar, right? They can be non-polar or polar. So for examples, I already discussed the examples. To just revise fast, natural waxes, jojoba oil wax, borax, the beeswax, then candidilla wax and carnauba wax used in lipsticks and lip balms, no stick lip balms, hydrogenated castor oil. These are all natural waxes, right? Hydrogenated oils, we discussed, we classified. This is just more explanation on those things. So, synthetic oils. Synthetic oils are usually obtained, synthetic esters are usually obtained by reacting fatty acids and fatty alcohol. Stearic acid, palmitic acid with cetyl alcohol, stearyl alcohol and various esters have been derived. Butyl, isopropyl, ethyl-hexyl, myristyl, olyl alcohols are used. Wide range of synthetic oils with very, very different properties have been synthesized. No? This emollient esters chemistry has evolved over a period of time and a lot of new chemistries have come into the market. So, they all are very good emollients with the different polarities. So, effective combining of these emollients can improve or get unique sensories through your skin sensories through your skincare products, right? Synthetic oils. Say to recollect, this is natural oil. Basically, all vegetable oils. Vegetable oils are triglycerides. Okay, CH2OCOR, CHOCOR, CH2OCOR. This is the R. This is the R. This is the fatty acid chain. So it's a triglyceride because it's a derivative of glycerin. So it's a ester of glycerin. So it is triglyceride. When you hydrolyze, you get the 3 molecules of sodium hydroxide. You get CH2OH, CH2OH, CHOH, CH2OH, that is glycerin, and plus RCOONA, right? This is soap. Soaps we studied, anionic surfactant. It's a salt of higher fatty acids. Why I am telling you this is triglycerides of fatty acids, right? Fatty alcohols and fatty acids are derived from vegetable oils. How? If you hydrolyze soap, no? Hydrolysis, acid hydrolysis, you get fatty acids plus salts. Okay, this is fatty acid. When you reduce it, you get RCH2OH. This is fatty alcohol. This is fatty alcohol. So fatty acids and fatty alcohol are derived from vegetable oils, right? When we study that, you remember this. So of course triglycerides are used, and widely used coconut oil, okay, palm oil. Coconut oil and palm oil is widely used for making soaps also, but coconut oil as such is used as an emollient. Okay, then these are the oils. When we go into the oils further, see, natural oils, they can be saturated or unsaturated. Palmitic, stearic, oleic, palmitic, stearic, lauric, all these oils, all these fatty acids are saturated, and esters, oil esters. See, coconut oil contains more of palmitic, stearic, lauric, okay. They are all saturated fatty acids. So coconut oil doesn't become rancid at all. But sunflower oil has linoleic and linolenic acids. So sunflower oil, then olive oil, no, sesame oil, all these oils, they have a lot of unsaturation in it. So what happens, on storage they become rancid, you get that smell. But coconut oil you can store for a long time, it doesn't become rancid at all, because it is full of esters of saturated fatty acid, triglycerides of saturated fatty acids, that is coconut oil. Triglycerides of unsaturated fatty acids are sunflower oil, olive oil, sesame oil, groundnut oil, all those oils. Now these are the thing, myristic, saturated, palmitic, saturated, palmito-oleic, it is unsaturated, stearic, saturated, oleic, unsaturated, linolenic, unsaturated, unsaturated, unsaturated. See the double bonds? See, linolenic have 3 double bonds. Linoleic has 2 double bonds. See what happens, linoleic acid and all, I told you, unsaturated fatty acids, they can build in ceramide lipids. They can build in ceramide lipids. What are ceramide lipids? A group of lipids that holds the keratin cells of stratum corneum together. We saw that. What is its property? It can hold moisture. So some of these unsaturated fatty acids can aid in building ceramides which can hold moisture. That is apart from the emollient effect. So these unsaturated fatty acids has the potential to build in group of lipids called ceramides, right? These are all the fatty acids. So these fatty acids are derived from the vegetable oils, right? We discussed. That is what fatty acids can be saturated or unsaturated. That's what we saw in the sunflower, castor oil, avocado oil, almond oil, canola oil, olive oil, corn oil, groundnut oil. All these are unsaturated fatty acid esters, triglyceride. No? Coconut oil and palm oil, cottonseed oil, these are all saturated fatty acids. Basically, lauric, myristic, palmitic, stearic. Right? So, you can have fatty acids, derived fatty acid, vegetable oil as an emollient, which is triglyceride. Fatty acids are also used as an emollient. Right? Fatty acids are also used as an emollient. Then I told you, when fatty acid reduced, you get fatty alcohols. No? Cetyl alcohol, stearyl alcohol, cetostearyl alcohol, isostearyl alcohol, lauryl alcohol, oleil alcohol, or some of the fatty alcohols. Right? Now, I told you, cetyl alcohol, fatty alcohols have another function apart from emollient function. What is it? Cetyl alcohol is act as a secondary emulsifier. I am repeating again and again so that it gets into the mind very fully. Secondary emulsifier. So it combines with the primary emulsifier, which is a surfactant, forms bilayers wherein lot of water can be imbibed and go in stabilizing emulsions. So these fatty alcohols form gel phase and gel networks in the emulsions, stabilizing the emulsions. So they have the emulsion stabilizing properties apart from the emollient effect also. So these are all we discussed in that one sheet again. So butters, shea butter, avocado butter, cocoa butter, all these things are vegetable butters, right? This butter is totally different in composition, chemical composition, compared to our butter which we use for ghee, milk butter. So that is a very different butter. Since these have butter like consistency, they are called as butters. Shea butter, avocado butter, mostly they have little triglycerides, they have long chain fatty acids, fatty alcohols, everything, right? So these butters, cocoa butters, are used in creams and lotions for emolliency, for lipsticks, lip balms, right? So very good emollients, no? Butters are very, very good emollients. Natural butter, shea butter, avocado butter, cocoa butter, right? So synthetic waxes. See, most of the emollients synthesized are liquid. Some of them are waxes also, like cetyl palmitate. Cetyl palmitate is cetyl alcohol and palmitic acid ester. It's like waxy substance. So they are all called synthetic wax, right? Cetyl palmitate. Spermaceti is a natural wax obtained from whales, but cetyl palmitate substitute that. Then hydroxy octosonyl hydroxystearate. So these are all cetyl palmitate and stearyl palmitate. Cetyl palmitate is a very, very important synthetic wax widely used in cosmetics, right? Some of the synthetic esters. These are some of the synthetic esters. There are plenty of synthetic esters. The innovation in this area of synthetic esters in terms of emollients is huge. This is some example. This is their spreading value and the level of emollients. Isopropyl myristate, cocoa capryllate caprate, cetostearyl iso no nanovate, disyl oleate, olyl alcohol, octyl dodecanol, medium chain triglyceride, cetyl palmitate. So what is the emollients? It's medium to light to rich. So these are the examples of the synthetic esters. So mineral oil and vegetable oils as well as waxes generally produce heavy greasy feeling on the skin, right? Hydrophobic fatty acid esters are almost unlimited source of synthetic emollients and refatteners. They provide lighter and more pleasant skin feel than oils and waxes, right? So lanolin and its derivatives. Lanolin we discussed. There are a lot of derivatives of lanolin. Ethoxylated lanolin alcohol, propoxylated lanolin alcohols, alkoxylated lanolin. Then they are all used as emulsifiers, and these are all inky names of various alcohols, lanolin derivatives. Now, One important point here is lanolin is animal derived. Okay, it's an excellent ingredient, but unfortunately you can't put green dot. No, we can't put green dot, so it's animal derived. That's one thing. Second thing is they spray some pesticide on sheep so that wool is not infested. Okay, so pesticide residues in lanolin is very, very important, especially if you get anhydrous lanolin as such. Anhydrous lanolin is used widely, right? So you have to go to a high quality lanolin products, right? Especially when you use anhydrous lanolin, it has to be high quality because pesticide residues are very critical. It can cause severe skin irritations if it's not a pure anhydrous lanolin, right? Now we will go back to humectants. No, humectants. This is all we saw was emollients. So humectants, we define again. Humectants are range of ingredients that provide hydration effect as a result of hygroscopicity. That is, emollients because of its occlusive layer. This is that is seal moisture. This is supply moisture, hygroscopicity. Maintain moisture content we discussed. Prevents drying. This we discussed. Potentiate the effect of other actives and excipients. This we discussed. Examples. We will see some examples of humectants, right? Butylene glycol, glycerin, honey, lactic acid and its salts, lactose, mannitol, propylene glycol, pyrrolidone carboxylic acids and their salts, sorbitol, sucrose, urea, xylitol, aloe gel because of its polysaccharide. No, it's one of the best humectant. Aloe gel. Not, see, aloe has two components, gel and the resin at the base of the leaf. Resin has totally a different constituent, anthraquinone glycosides, that is for as a laxative, used as a laxative, that is different. But in the middle part of the leaf, aloe gel, that is called aloe gel. No, that is a very good natural humectant, right? So these are examples of humectants, right? This is some of the polarity index of some of the materials. Humectant, glycerin and propylene glycol, very high. This is all emollient. This is glyceryl stearate, isostearate, all these things are emollients. See the polarity index, right? These are all the polarity index of the. So you can combine with different polarity, emollients with different polarity to get that sensories. So this is some of the common emollients used in skin. These are all the emollients. More polar. These are all less polar, can be used as occlusives also. Petroleum, no, these are all occlusives, no, petroleum jelly also. It's then these are all the humectants. PCA is pyrrolidone carboxylic acid, that we saw in this PCA, copper, glucuronic acid, glycerin, propylene glycol, sorbitol. These are all some of the humectants. These are all some of the emollients. These are all some of the more occlusives. Less polar, polar, and this is totally a different set of ingredients, humectants. This moisturize skin by sealing moisture. This is improve sensorial properties. This is for provide moisture, provide or supply moisture. Okay, so this is for sensorial properties. This is for moisturizing properties. Seal moisture, right? This provides supply moisture, right? And also preserve product, also preserve product from drying. Moisturize skin by supplying moisture, right? These are all examples. If you see, there are hundreds and hundreds of emollients, hundreds and hundreds of occlusives. Go to CTFA directory. In the first, the second part, I have explained what is CTFA. So go to the CTFA directory, you can get the entire list of emollients, occlusives, humectants. So this is what I want to tell you about emollients and humectants. I think you had a clear idea on what is an emollient and what is an humectant and how they are applied in personal care or cosmetics or cosmeceutical formulations. Thank you, and before I end, I always end with the life lesson. So today's life lesson, part 16, the life lesson: power without love leads to cruelty. Power without love leads to cruelty. The sentence itself is self-explaining. Thank you, and let me be in touch with you in the next session. Thank you. Bye.